Live from the Partners Neighborhood Bar and Grill in beautiful downtown Huntsville, Alabama.
What time is it?
What time is it?
What time is it?
What time is it? What time is it?
It's tea time with Tierra, darling, where we are spilling the tea. Hello, welcome. This is our episode 6, and today's special guest is Miss Amanda Black, a true inspiration to Huntsville and myself. So, how you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing good, Tierra. How are you?
Amanda, I couldn't be better, and I'm so honored that you're here today. You're so beautiful, and I'm just ecstatic that you're here today. So, I guess we're going to start off by talking just a little bit. We'll have a little conversation. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Okay. Have you met Pete?
Hello, everybody. This is Pete.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Amanda.
Well, my name is Amanda Black. That's my stage name. My legal name is Amanda Hunt. I was born in Kentucky. I grew up in Indiana through the latter part of my teen years, and then I moved to Atlanta, and and then I moved to Atlanta when I was about 20 years old, and then I moved here in Huntsville about 2000, I believe. And I've been here ever since, and I absolutely love it. You're the first person I met, one of the first people I met here.
I remember that. I remember that when Amanda came down for our amateur show, which she's been no amateur since I've known her, but she entered our talent show to get her foot in the door. And Amanda stepped out there, and she was luscious, honey, luscious. Had this little costume on that was like a burlesque showgirl. And I said, I want to be that one day. That was remember I had this story with you. So she inspired me to start my transition, and I was so happy to be able to talk to her. So tell me a little bit about you as far as when did you start transitioning?
Well, I've always known ever since I was little that I wanted to be a girl. I can never remember not wanting to be a girl. But when I moved to Atlanta, the opportunity was just a lot easier to come across. There was other girls that had breasts and that had body work that I'd never seen before in my life. So I was just like, I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe that there were transgender people. And so Rhonda Suzanne Armstrong, her stage name was Rhonda Lee. She's the one that started me taking hormones and just becoming who I am today. And I just started taking my hormones, and the rest is history.
Well, that is true. It's like, well, when she started those hormones, I remember I took one hormone shot. It's herstory. I took one hormone shot, and I thought I was a woman, you know. But so transitioning is always a challenge, or at least it has been to me and many girls I've talked to. What would you say was the most challenging for you during any time of your transition?
I think in the beginning it was a little more difficult because, when you first start, you're starting from scratch as a male, and you're building on that. So at first it was really hard because I didn't look like a boy or a girl. I was very feminine, but it was hard out in public. 20 years ago it wasn't as acceptable as it is now, and that was very difficult for me. But I worked within the clubs, and I kind of had my own family. They kind of took me under the wing because I was estranged from mine. I was young, and they were very helpful. So starting off was kind of difficult, but as time went along, and then in the mid '90s, you had NBC with Will and Grace and everything. It was become more acceptable, and it's still difficult from time to time, for us girls because every now and then someone will clock us, and you're like,
I've never been clocked.
Ever?
Never.
And it's rare when someone acts negatively, towards me. But there's been a couple occasions where it's happened. But when I first started, it was difficult. But
I know. I think this is about you, but I know I want to share this with you too. It's like my challenge was I was afraid to speak. Yeah, I was afraid. Can you believe it? My loud mouth was afraid to speak in public. I didn't know what to do because you always have this vision of what it should be, what it should look like, and what it should sound like. And usually it's somebody that we're related to, like our mother. We always relate that, or something like that. So it's like, but it got so confusing for me because I did not ever accomplish that because that's not who I was. You know what I mean? Yeah. I never accomplished that. I had to let go of that. You know what I mean? So that challenge was a long one, but very rewarding when I let it go, you know? I guess what I wanted to know something, too, is tell me about your part of your life where you said you turned to drugs and stuff. But there's a lot of people out here that do drugs for the same reasons that anybody who does them. So if you want to, talk to us about that for just a little bit.
Well, drugs have been was a big part of my life for ever since I can remember, since I was little. You know, I've been doing drugs since I was a child. You know, my and that followed me through my adulthood. I'm sorry, it caught me off.
No, that's cool.
No, but I've done drugs. I did drugs for the longest time of my life, and you know, for the most part, I always blamed my behavior on my drugs. But the truth is, the drugs was just a Band-Aid for everything that every person goes through. You know, we all have a sad story, and we all have terrible things that happen as kids. But it followed me into my adulthood, and the drugs followed me up until just recently. 2 to 3 years ago, I went into recovery, and it was a very difficult change for me. But I can say honestly that today, I really am a changed woman. I have no desire for that lifestyle anymore. Whether God helped me do it or I did it myself, but I'm so glad I'm not in that lifestyle anymore.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're a free spirit about talking about that, because a lot of people can relate, and they also can be helped. Just sometimes one word can make a difference in the world, and sometimes we look for that in people. And and you go through the club and you think sometimes people don't even listen to us. They admire us, but they don't listen. You know what I mean? And there's a big difference. And when you have a voice, people start to listen. When you use your voice for the right reasons. Yeah. And that's what I'm learning, too. I'm learning how to use my voice for different reasons, instead of attitude checks and stuff like that. That's all good, but I'm learning how to do this in a new body, a new frame of mind, So, Pete, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Amanda?
My mind is I'm just over, and I'm so thankful that you're being so open and honest, because I know how difficult that is, and I know for my own personal self, because this is my year of authenticity. This is my year of coming out, and I'm so proud of Tierra because she is so coming out right now. She actually had the mic to begin with the show. If you'll notice, it wasn't me speaking with it. Like, thank God, the star of the show actually started the show. So anyway. Oh, wow. Let me think. So I would love to know, because this has been such a spiritual journey in for Tierra this year, do you mind talking a little bit about your spiritual journey and maybe how that helped you with what you went through?
Growing up, I never was a spiritual person. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know who God really was, or your higher power, whatever you want to call him. But it's so funny that you mentioned this. When I started working at the Westin, there's a lady there that's a Jehovah's Witness, and so she started talking to me about the Bible and stuff, and at first I was just like, oh God, here we go, But, once I started, I said, okay, well, maybe I'm open-minded to learn about, my higher power, my God, and all, and that. And I got to tell you, I was so surprised that I took to it. I actually started to listen and learning things, and it actually taught me a lot about myself, and who I was and who I wanted to be. Because for the longest time, I was a good person, but I had a lot of bad behavior. And just talking with her and just opened my mind a little bit to, helping me become a better person, was a wonderful thing. So that's part of my spiritual journey, and I'm still on it. And every day I find out things about myself, some good and some not so good. But I just try to grow and change for the better every day.
That's beautiful. That's so awesome, and it's really come in line with a lot of things that have come to me, this week. But I'll get just a little bit spiritual. I had an angel reading this week, and what I was told was to find the beauty in my childhood. Which, if I had heard that about a month ago, I couldn't have done it. But I've come so far in my spiritual journey to where now I can actually see the beauty of everything that has ever happened to me, because it has made me the person that I am today, and it has allowed me to be here to talk to these beautiful ladies, and to anybody, if anybody is out there watching us, to be able to touch them, and be able to through my experience and through our experiences that we've all had, help people in their own walks in life. So this is just I'm almost speechless because I'm just kind of overwhelmed. So, and one thing that I think is really kind of interesting, I was talking to I had done a help with a lady that had some energy blockage. I know I'm getting real woohoo here, but anyway, it had to deal with something in her past. And one thing I told her that I think is really evident for us as well is that it's really easy for gay people, because we create our own families. We end up having to create our own families, especially like in my age group in the South. So do you feel comfortable talking about creating your own family and maybe talking about that? Or
I've had to do that most of my life. I still am in contact with some of my family, but not with most of them, which I would like. But yeah, I've had to. Well, you don't have to, but. When you meet people, there are certain people in your lives that that you have a connection with, or that you have a love for, and it's undying. I have great family members. Tierra is my family member. For 14, 15 years now. Stan, Tommy, and now Mo, my life partner. People from Atlanta, I still consider family. So yes. For gay and transgendered individuals, a lot of us do have to make our own families, which is unfortunate, but also a blessing at the same time.
I got a question. I know on my spiritual journey, I've been tested. Oh God, have I been tested more times than I ever care to think about, or I'll always admit it. Because I believe that there's two days most important in your life, and that's the day you were born, and then the day you realize why you were born. Those are two important days. And just November, I've said this many times, and even in the past episodes, that November, I really found out why I was born. It's a beautiful thing.
It
is. There's so much emotion today. I just absolutely love it. And don't you love these beautiful ladies being so honest and open with us? All the ladies in the house. So yeah, it sounds like all of us have had to take a real journey of forgiveness. Can we talk about forgiveness a little bit and about how important that's been to all of us? Do you want me to start, or? Okay. So I think forgiveness, because when you hold that negative energy yourself, like they've said, if you hold something against somebody else, it's almost like holding a hot coal in your own hand, and it just burns you. It doesn't burn that other person because they don't know, So forgiveness is really about releasing that energy from your own self to help it's really actually the most selfish thing you can do, to be honest with you, because it helps you. Because the other person that you need to forgive, they don't give a crap that you need to forgive them. It's you that So forgiveness is really and forgiveness of yourself is key. And I actually went through a period of my life where I actually could not look in the mirror to shave. And let me tell you, it's really hard to shave and not be able to look in the mirror. And so, not that y'all ladies know anything about that. Anyway, I've come through a real journey and once you can learn how to forgive yourself, then you can extend it out to other people. And that's just, now I'm going to have my moment. Now it's just one of the most freeing things that can ever have. So would y'all like to talk just a little bit about your stories of forgiveness?
Sure. I think everybody in life has to, forgive someone for one thing or another. And for me, it was really it's hard to forgive, especially for, stuff from your childhood and things like that. But the reason it was so hard for me, because I used to use it as a weapon or as a crutch to get what I wanted, or I would use it as an excuse for my bad behavior. And I finally had to, I realized that, all of that was wrong. Holding on to all of that anger and that bitterness, it spewed out in every pore of me. It was horrible. And finally, just it hasn't been that long that I've had to, work on forgiving people, not just, people from your childhood or just forgiveness all around, and it's made me a much more well-rounded person and a much happier person.
Well, that's very true. I learned that. Seems like I always learn stuff the hard way. I can never hear that little voice and go with it. I have to have a ton of bricks to hit me in the head, and then I will actually learn the lesson. But for me, forgiveness was difficult, but it was also the right word. It cannot come to my mind, but it held me captive for so many years, and I couldn't figure out which person I needed to forgive to help me. So I didn't forgive anybody. I didn't forgive anybody. It was like I had a knife at your throat, and the only person getting cut was myself, because the blade was always turned around backwards, and I had such a hard time thinking that I didn't fit in everywhere, So my forgiveness was with my father. Once I forgave him, I had to forgive myself for allowing myself to be held captive and not being the best person I could be all those years. And I went to my father's gravesite about 3 years ago. And I know people thought I was crazy, but it helped me. I sat there and I cried. And I talked to him and I released it. And I told him, you're not holding me captive anymore. You're not going to make me feel like I'm not loved anymore. You're not going to make me feel like anything, because I am a wonderful person. I am awesome. And I believe that if you tell yourself that over and over and over, you become that person. You become awesome. You become extraordinary, because we're all here for that reason. And I think forgiveness is a good way to start. So if people probably will look at this show and go, hey, I need to forgive somebody. But they also might look at it and go, well, you never forgave me. Right. So if you're watching and I've done something to you, I ask you for your forgiveness.
Amen, sister.
Amen. Yeah, I think I think a lot of us, the reason we don't forgive is we think that we're going to. Because a lot of times when you say you're going to forgive somebody, especially when it happens in family situations, I know this happened for me, it's almost like the people expect you to come back into that fold. And what I always told them was, I can forgive the shark, but that doesn't mean I'm getting back in the ocean. So I just want to make sure everybody understands what forgiveness is really about. It's just about releasing that energy, but that doesn't mean that you have to ever really even deal with that person anymore. And the person can be deceased. I'm just going to be really honest. I didn't like my grandmother when she was alive, but now that she's transitioned over, she comes to me. I'm getting real woohoo again, and I think she's a fabulous person. We have a great time. When I will smell perfume. I smelled perfume the other day in the gym. Tell me how many times you smell perfume in the gym. And I was like, oh, hey, Grandma. She wanted to come experience working out with me because she'd never done it before. And I was like, okay, we'll have some fun. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling here, but I guess I just want to express because a lot of people have that block against wanting to forgive because they think that they're going to be letting that energy back in again. But just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you have to. Maybe they will come back in your life, or maybe they won't. But you have released them, and you've released that energy, and really, it's what you put out into the world that comes back to you. So when you forgive, you become the new stronger person. And that negative energy can no longer come at you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. I'm just kidding. No, yes, I've realized since that I've put a lot more positive out negative instead of negative things. A lot of things in my life are improving. Every day. My job is improving. I'm going to school now. That's improving. The people in my life have improved. The quality of my quality of life has improved.
Well, that's great. I just think sometimes that about forgiveness. Trust me, it's like a magnet. Sometimes it will try to glue back onto you and try to tell you that. It's like the mean person will come back through and say, "Gotcha." Gotcha. No, you have to practice that, because the more you practice it, the better it becomes. Exactly. So I'm just saying some of life's biggest blessings were born on the heels of tragedy. So, all right, so I'm just saying, So if you're looking at tragedy, you're looking at a blessing, honey. So anything, what else would you like to talk about? You got any upcoming events or anything that you'd like to promote?
Well, actually, this coming Friday, Partners here is having a show, the Old School Reunion Show. I believe it's myself, Tierra, myself, Tierra, Sadara, and Mystic. Tawanda Two-Time. Oh, it's for real. Okay, Tawanda Two-Time. Yes. That's August 1st. And then August the 9th, I have my Amanda's Cat House show, which will be at 11 o'clock here at Partners.
Yeah, so and that is what I'd like to.
Once a month. Yes, once a month.
Okay, cool. So I would like because we have been talking so much about the past. Yeah, just kind of can you talk generally about just where you are today? I mean, you're obviously in a committed relationship, and I'm going to let you speak and let you say it.
I'm in a committed relationship. My partner and I, we met last summer, but we got together December the 21st. I remember the day when she kissed me. And traditionally, I've always dated men, but and a couple of women here and there, but Mo is my life partner, and she's going to be for the rest of my life. I mean, I love this woman. I'm in college at Drake Technical. I'm going for hospitality management. I work at the West, and I've been there for about 5 years. I'm hoping to become a manager one day there. That's why I'm in college, and so maybe me and Mo one day can start a family. But that's where I'm at right now.
That sounds like an awesome place to be. So, hats off to you, girl. I'm so proud of you. Pete, do you have something else you want to say? You were grabbing the mic. I thought you had something to say.
No, well, not really. I'm so awe-inspired, and I think you're so awe-inspiring. I love your story. I love that you're willing to. Because it's a big deal for people to expose themselves and tell their story and to be their authentic self. And I know this is my year for my authentic walk, and I think that's really where it's at. So, anything else, y'all? Any of the ladies?
No, thank you. I just want to say thank you both for having me, and I've had a wonderful time here, and I hope you guys have me back soon.
Well, I had an awesome time talking to you. We always have conversations, but sometimes when we can get intimate and talk about the personal things for other people, it always makes a big difference. And I know you've changed your life already. You have. So I just want to say thank you, and I love you. I love you to death. And Pete wants a hug. He gets jealous when I hug the girls. So we thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Be kind to one another. Bye-bye.
It was after the show, so how are your feelings?
Wow. Very, very, I feel warm. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
feel rejuvenated. I feel empowered after today's show.
That's amazing. Yeah,
yes, it was great. Amanda was beautiful and well-spoken, and
right.
Her story is
a beautiful
lady.
Yeah,
oh God, she was my...
And great shoes.
Great taste. Although there's 10. Which is okay, I'll flip-flop that up. But yeah, just a great person.
Right.
And I can see she's changed,
Right.
Love that.
Right. You could really just see the spark, in her eyes, and I didn't know her before, so I don't know. I don't know that the spark wasn't always there.
To me, she's always had the spark, but like myself, she's probably camouflaged the pain. Sometimes it's just easier to smile without talking about it.
Yeah. So I really love how the theme of our show today has been about forgiveness and letting go and rejuvenation and new life and how it's just, it never, it's just what it was. It can be whatever it is you want it to be.
And it's very empowering.
Yeah.
That's my word today, empowered.
Yeah.
I'm empowered.
I love it.
Yeah. It's great show.
Yeah. It's a good show.
Yeah,
and we hope you enjoyed it. We sure do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we got to do the...
Mwah. Mwah.